Hello, I am Dragon Wolfworm.
And I'm DC from Digitally Correct.
And I'm the Pillsbury Doughboy. Okay, we are here to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution. Now, you're conjuring up some memories from this god-awful movie.
Too many to count.
Together to fight the invaders. They created the Dragonballs.
Oh, actually, I do got one thing to say. This movie, while I was watching it, they did a really good job of making me believe I was watching a horrible movie. So A+ on that.
That's because you were, in fact, watching a horrible movie.
Shocking!
Shocking, I know, right? Dragon Ball Evolution? How can that be a bad movie? Well, let me tell you how it would be a bad movie. Bad CGI, bad acting, bad wire work, bad story.
Was that Chow Yun-Fat?
Chow Yun-Fat was the movie.
Let's put Master Roshi in the middle of a fucking city.
Brilliant, done, cut.
I believe when I first started watching this movie and Goku and his grandpa are doing like fighting scenes, that's probably the point where I should have just said, you know what, this is not my thing. Okay, now from Dragon Ball, Goku, like, Master Roshi, when he meets Master Roshi's like, hey, this is my Kamehameha wave. I'm the only one in the world that can do this. And he's like, oh really? And Goku just does it in front of him. Not this movie. This movie, you gotta be special. This movie, he's gotta train. He's gotta do like Karate Kid shit. Wax on, wax off,
no,
yeah.
It's like the new one. Jacket off, jacket off.
Let's not forget the incredible CGI sweat from both Goku and his grandpa.
And the fly going in his grandpa's mouth.
That too. You can't forget about the fly going in a man's mouth and then doing a bunch of weird half-ass karate, airbending, Dragon Ball.
Let me ask you guys this. Are you guys fans of the actual anime?
Of course.
And this is nothing like the anime.
Nothing.
This is like, and my former boss actually had a good thing. Josh Bell out there, you had a good description of what probably happened. Some guy had wrote up this magnificent script for a Dragon Ball movie. It was like fucking miles high. He's running, he's excited, he falls into a wood chipper, the fucking papers go into the wood chipper, everything goes flying everywhere, and some guy randomly walks by and says, oh, Dragon Ball, that would be a good movie, and then he just runs, goes to Wikipedia and says, I got this. We were watching the original Dragon Ball movie. Doing 30 front flips and 30 back flips while going up and down a mountain. That was better.
That's the only way you can go up and down a mountain.
Yes. Well, that was better than any CGI in this movie. And that movie was made like 15, 20 years before.
Yes. Dragon Ball was made back in the 80s. Dragon Ball Z was made back in the late 80s, early 90s. This was made in, what, 2005, 2006?
I think it was more like 2008, 2009-ish.
Fuck it, I don't care. You had plenty of material to work with, and instead you rip off The Matrix, you rip off Last Airbender.
Don't forget ripping off Spider-Man.
Ripping off Spider-Man.
Ripping off Spider-Man.
I like to call Goku Peter Parker because, and it looked like Flash Thompson. You could probably put that in from a clip. It looked like Flash Thompson was actually standing there. We were like, you know what, Parker? I've had enough of your shit. And I don't care what Uncle Ben says. I think the scene that stole the show for me was when Bulma's standing there looking for Master Roshi in the directory, and she says, I've tried every spelling of Roshi I can think of. And Goku says, and I quote,
Did you try Master?
Did you try Master?
Of course. We have to give Bulma props because she gave us probably one of the best things about this entire movie. Bulma face!
He then started spelling it. M-A-S-T. Yes, this movie was...
Q-U-R-W-I-N-Z.
Another moment that stole it for me was when his grandfather said, Goku, I bequeath unto you my ball. This movie, and another thing we gotta talk about, Piccolo's Brita water filter of doom. It looks like he's actually flying a Brita filter.
Yes, not to mention, let's not forget the fact that Piccolo and his flying Brita filter of doom! It looks like he's a Final Fantasy character just sitting on his balcony just with his arms crossed and like, I hate the world, man.
Typical villain stuff.
Typical villain stuff.
I'm a bad guy.
Typical villain is actually the way he went rolling into the house to Goku's grandfather.
You see me rolling.
Okay, now let's get on Piccolo's dominatrix sidekick. She has no powers except for some odd reason she can jump over buildings. The first real
Don't
scene.
forget her magic slide.
Yes, the first real scene you see her in. They're speaking in Japanese. This is like maybe the 3 lines of Japanese they use in the entire movie, and they do subtitles. And the lady says, "I have what you want." So what does the dominatrix say? She pulls out a gun and says, "Get on your knees." Now, I have no idea. It didn't really show what happened. But I don't think it was meant for kids to watch this movie.
I don't think this movie was meant for anyone to watch, Chris. Let's not forget the incredible scene in which Piccolo finally obtains all the 7 magical balls. He puts them in loader, and he's all talking about how he was banished for 2,000 years.
The dominatrix is standing there like... in the background like, I can only imagine what it's like to be tied up.
Where she is getting wet off of this.
When I'm getting ready to watch this movie, I'm like, you know what, the one thing that can save this movie, his best friend Krillin, who is not in the fucking movie.
There is no Krillin.
There is no Krillin. We don't have a small bald guy who gets owned every scene he's in. It would have worked wonders for this movie, I have to say.
Piccolo would have had somebody to beat up on for 15 minutes rather than just kill Master Roshi. Oh, this movie was definitely a horrible display, and we have not done a ranking system yet. But whatever ranking system we do, okay, let's say we each get 5 for a total of 15.
Well,
I'm giving this a -1.
My ranking system is 0 out of 7, and you know what? Out of everything I saw in this movie, the only redeeming grace in the entire movie is Boniface, and that's the only good thing about this entire movie. That, and there is a small little scene where Goku and Piccolo are fighting each other. Is kind of somewhat reminiscent of the actual Dragon Ball Z anime, but outside that, it gets a 0 out of 7 by far.
I'm gonna be fair and I'm gonna give it a score of 2. 2
what?
thumbs down.
Oh! I'm not a big fan of Power Rangers, but their movies were better than this movie. Now,
It pains me to say that.
it does pain me to say that too. Now,
Ivan Ooze was a more credible villain than Piccolo any day.
you know, I gotta say, and this is being candid right here, after watching this movie, I had the inclination to build a time machine. Not only build a time machine, go back to Auschwitz, where my great-grandfather was, and tell him, instead of taking the left shower, go to the right shower so I don't have to experience this movie. That's how bad this movie was. When I watched this movie, I was on a plane flight from the UK to New York. The plane crashed. We found the city of Atlantis.
It was beautiful.
Now, we don't know, I cannot confirm that the plane crashing had anything to do with watching the movie. But we found Atlantis. They were good people. They wanted to embrace us. They were ready to come out to the world and, you know, come out of their little closet. Now, they wanted to watch this movie was the only prerequisite. After watching this movie, not only did they hate the people that made this movie, they have declared war on us, and they will be on their way in the next, December 21st. December 21st, they are going to be here, and they are not going to be happy. We call this, the apocalypse?
Yes, the Mayans predicted that the people of Atlantis would see the Dragon Ball Evolution movie, and thus they will bring upon the end of the world. And you know what? I say good riddance, because if there are people out there who are willing to fork over money to make something this fucking horrible, then yes, I say damn you all.
Now, back to that time machine analogy. I think that there is no greater good that could be used of that time machine than to go back and kill myself.
Well, I won't go that far.